What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. So today we're doing something a little bit different and we're talking about why I personally love playing Wrath of the Lich King Classic. This has probably been my favorite version of Classic WoW so far. Like, I really enjoyed Vanilla, I somewhat enjoyed TBC, but Wrath of the Lich King Classic is basically the expansion that is the best one for me, based on a couple of reasons that I'll be going through in this video. Before that though, if you want to make a lot of gold very easily right now in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, I have uploaded a full investments video to my channel, and this one is locked behind being a subscriber, so all you have to do to get access to the video is subscribe down below. It's completely free. It's just to provide a barrier to entry, because investments is a very good way to make some very easy gold in the game, but the more people have access to them, the less profit you make. So I basically want to give those of you who support me a little bit of a extra early access to that video. So once again, all you have to do is subscribe down below, and if you want to take your gold making game one step further, then you can check out my gold guide as well, which is linked down below, which is a 110 pages PDF document about gold making. We also have an exclusive Discord server for the Goldmaking Guide as well, where we talk about even more gold making info and exclusive gold farms that are really good that you can do right now in Wrath Classic. Either way though, let's talk about what I personally enjoy so much about the expansion, and I've been putting a lot of hours into the game so far. It's been out for about a month and I already have like 5 level 80s, I have a level 78. I've been playing the game a lot, doing a lot of different things, so let's get right into it. Number 1 is the barrier to entry. Pretty much everyone can pick up the game. It has a very low barrier to entry from the start. I'm not going to be going over the leveling process, but basically all you have to do to play the game is pay a monthly sub, which is pretty much all you have to do. You pay the monthly sub, you level up at your own pace, and once you get to level 80, the barrier to entry is once again almost non-existent, or at least very low. In TBC Classic, the heroic dungeons were actually difficult, and you would sometimes wipe in heroic dungeons. That is something you never see right now in Wrath Classic, unless you're doing actual Narub on heroic, which can be somewhat difficult sometimes in some certain groups, but other than that, you're basically never wiping inside heroic dungeons. So getting some decent gear at level 80 is very easy, and also if you're doing dungeons and you don't get gear from the dungeons, you still get emblems, and you can spend these emblems to get the gear as well. So the gearing up process is also very easy, and yeah, you can get gear from the heroic dungeons or spend the emblems to get the gear as well. So the barrier to entry is super low. The heroic dungeons are very easy, and raiding is also very easy, and I'm going to be talking about that right now. So let's talk about raiding in phase 1, and also let's talk a little bit about the later phases as well. So the barrier to entry to raiding is also pretty low right now in Wrath Classic, because Naxxramas is arguably the easiest raid that has ever been introduced to the game. It's a remake of the old Naxxramas, so people already know the strategies and tactics, and almost nothing's changing except for that it's way easier. Things you barely hit at all, and the DPS caps or the DPS requirements are very low. The only thing that is kind of a requirement is for tanks to be defense capped. Other than that, it's a very stupidly easy raid. And I do think a lot of people are getting deterred from raiding right now, because a lot of runs are requiring you to be fully gemmed, fully enchanted, either have the achievements or have like 4000 gear score. But let me tell you this, I actually plugged a run on Giantstalker, the fresh servers for Europe, and we had no requirements. All you had to do was be level 80 pretty much. We didn't even require you to have heroic gear. A lot of people in the run were 3.2k gear score, which is basically the gear score you have as you ding level 80. So people were literally joining the run in raiding or questing gear from level 80. Literal questing gear, no heroic dungeons, no anything. The only difficult part of the raid was that sometimes we would wipe. We had 3 wipes on Patchwork, and we had 1 wipe on Headless Horseman. That is basically all the wipes we had, and we had people knew the strategies, but the gear requirement is literally almost non-existent. The thing you want to think about is that tanks want to be defense capped, and the less damage you do, the more trouble you will have on bosses that require damage output, like for example Patchwork. Other than that, as long as you know the strategies, you should be fine. Should definitely be fine. So yeah, if you're looking to make your own run and you don't want to farm up for 4000 gear score, you don't have the achievements. All I can tell you is that all you have to do is search up some boss guides on YouTube and learn the strategies and make your own pug. It is so easy. The barrier to entry for Naxxramas is pretty much non-existent, and if you have trouble getting into runs, literally just make your own. Even if you make your own and you have people without raiding gear in your group, you should be fine. We even did like 20-man Naxxramas with lots of people under geared and we were still fine. And that is another thing that I love about the game, because right now you basically have several different communities within raiding. You have the real hardcore people that want you to have the best gear possible. You have to know every single strategy, you have to bring flasks, potions, consumables, all of the good stuff, be fully enchanted, fully gemmed. Basically you have the parsing culture, and then you have the more casual, relaxed dad gamer kind of vibe where you just chill, you do the bosses, you get the loot, and you have some fun. And you can find the guilds for both of those types of things, so it's all based on how you want to play the game and how you want to raid. And I would say that if you're looking for a specific one of those two sides, try to find a guild that fits your category, because if you're pugging, then it's a little bit more based on your damage output, but if you're in a guild, then you're part of a community, right? And that is one more thing that I love about the game right now, the actual community. The community is great. People are grouping up to do quests, dungeons, everything really. Everyone's being super inclusive. Gold farming is a great place to be right now. People are being so generous, and people are telling each other about gold farms, helping each other in group farms, and basically people are just amazing, at least in my experience so far. The only bad part about the community is bots, and that is not really a part of the community, but it's a part of the player base, and that is a problem for a different video. But yeah, the community is great, raiding scene is great, and one more thing about raiding is that even though raids right now are super easy, they get extremely more difficult starting already in phase 2. So while the barrier to entry for raiding is super low, it gets a lot more difficult over time, and by the time we get to phase 2, Ulduar is actually pretty difficult. And then you start to get into, for example, Icecrown Citadel as well, which is arguably it is more difficult than Naxxramas, but people have been doing Icecrown Citadel for years now, so people know the strats, but still, it is definitely more difficult than Naxxramas. One more thing that I personally love about the expansion, which is kind of a hit or miss, is that it's a very alt-friendly expansion. Leveling up alts goes super fast. If you have rested experience, you can pretty much level from level 70 to 80 in 24 hours, maybe less as well, depending on your leveling route. But yeah, it's a super alt-friendly expansion. You can level up alts, you can level them in dungeons, do quests, farm in the open world. Doesn't really matter too much, and you can level up alts super easy. And one more thing that I want to bring up that also kind of ties into it being an alt-friendly experience is that there's no super long mandatory grinds. There's no attunements like there was in TBC Classic, and there's nothing like Artifact Power from Legion or BFA where you had to basically play the game all day just to grind out world quests and get legendaries, artifact powers, and all of that stuff. All you have to do to play Wrath Classic at an optimal length is to log in, get your character geared up, and then you can basically raid log. And that, I think, is a strong, it's a strength of the game itself. It shows that Blizzard had faith in the game to let you do whatever you wanted with your free time. The thing about newer expansions, like for example, let's just talk about Legion here, where you had to grind the game 24/7. I think that was to lock you in, because they thought that if they gave you time to play a different game, then maybe you didn't come back. But by giving us time to do whatever we want, they are respecting our time, and they are respecting us enough they have enough faith in their game to believe that even if we choose not to play the game 24/7, we still come back to the game because it's an awesome game. So to do a quick summary at the end here, what I love about the game so far is a low barrier to entry, heroic dungeons being super easy, raiding being super easy or super difficult based on which kind of spectrum you're on, if you're on the casual side or the side where you're parsing, looking for 99s or 100 parses. Basically, raiding can be whatever you want it to be. Also, alt-friendly expansion, plus the game respects your time. There's no mandatory grinds inside the game. You can raid log if you want, or you can basically level up alts, farm some reputations. There are definitely grinds in the game that you can do, but you don't have to do them. One example of this is, for example, the Oracle's Reputation in Sholazar Basin. You can do this grind right here and get yourself a mount, but you don't have to. You can do it, it will get you a very cool mount, but you can also live a very good life without that mount. It doesn't affect your actual character output whatsoever, but there's a lot of optional grinds that you don't have to do, but you can do them if you want to. So while Wrath of the Lich King Classic doesn't force you to play the game 24/7, it also gives you something to do if you do decide to actually play the game 24/7. So yeah, that is my video on why I love playing the game. Let me know your comments down below in the actual comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know why you love the game or why you don't love the game, whatever really, let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, kind of a Solheim talk video, let me know that as well. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more Wrath Classic content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace out, guys.